Is Marvel Spider-Man 2 Game of the Year? Welcome to the OTOT podcast. Today, we are giving our thoughts on Marvel's Spider-Man 2. We're talking about the combat, the story, and just the general aesthetic of the game. I'm Alex, and with me is...
Jaysen.
All right, let's get into it. This is a full spoilers podcast, so if you have not played it, just be warned. So, right off the bat, Jaysen, what do you think of Spider-Man? Or Marvel Spider-Man 2, shall I say?
I will say, I do think it is a good game, but it's not as good as 2018 for me. I enjoyed it, but I don't see myself picking it back up after I don't even know if I'm going to go get the 100% the platinum. I don't even know if I'll do it. So,
Gotcha. Yeah.
How are you feeling about it?
I liked it. I definitely think that I agree. It is nowhere close to the first Spider-Man game from Insomniac, but I think that it was still good. I think there's a lot of shortcomings, but in terms of a Spider-Man game, I think it was good. In terms of as a video game, I definitely think there were things that could have been fixed.
Yeah. I was talking to one of my friends. I was talking to my friend Jose, who did the Starfield episode with us.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, if you're the type of casual gamer, the people who buy Madden 2K and Call of Duty every year, this is like a 9 out of 10 for them. But people who play like video games often, somebody more like me, somebody more like you, where we're playing lots of different games a year, this, for me personally, doesn't even break the top 5 of games that came out this year. Might say not even the top 10.
Okay. Is that including like DLC? Like, is Liberty City included in that?
You mean Phantom Liberty?
Phantom Liberty. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah, that does include DLC. So like, it does not beat out. I'm playing Dead Space Remake right now.
Okay.
Doesn't beat out Dead Space Remake. Doesn't beat out Phantom Liberty. Doesn't even beat out Starfield for me. And I'd say Starfield wasn't even. That's a 6 out of 10.
Gotcha. What is your game of the year, real quick? Is it Baldur's Gate?
Baldur's Gate 3 is probably gonna be my game of the year. Dead Space 3 remake, or Dead Space remake is getting up there. I don't really like horror games so much, but I do like Dead Space, so I am getting to it, but it's probably gonna be Baldur's Gate
3. Okay. Do you think that Marvel Spider-Man 2 should be included in the consideration for Game of the Year, or not even?
I don't think it should be personally put into consideration, but I know it's gonna be.
It's going to be, for sure.
Yeah.
There's too many reviews of it that are 9 out of 10s that are...
Too many reviews out of it. I mean, it's a Sony game. Sony is like Nintendo in the sense that no matter what Sony does, their games get like a 2+
right
to their score in the base just all the time.
Sure.
Like Nintendo can release the same Legend of Zelda game, literally the same game, and people will buy it over again.
Right.
It's like slightly different, but
yeah.
People are gonna come at me in the comments for that. The comment boys are coming for me for that one.
Yeah. I don't know. I as of yesterday, I've 100% completed the game. When the DLC comes out, I mean, they haven't said when or what the DLC will be. They've just said that they're like not quite on that priority yet. They said they're trying to finish New Game Plus at the moment before they can work on DLC. But when it comes out, I'll certainly play it.
Yeah, I'll play the DLC when it comes out. I will say this, guys, industry people, we got to be faster with the DLC.
Yeah.
The amount of the Cyberpunk DLC coming out 3 years after the release of the game, it was worth it, and it was really good DLC. That money.
Yeah.
I know they had to fix the game. If we were in a perfect world, all that should have been spent on making the sequel.
Yeah, that's true.
So, DLC shouldn't be coming out this late. Like,
yeah.
I'm talking about, I want all the DLC out within 6 months of release.
Yeah.
I want it at that speed. But
I think that, what was it? The 2018 Spider-Man game, its DLC all came out in the same year.
It was 1 month after the game came out.
Their DLC it was October, November, and December, right? Because there's 3 of them.
Yeah, they were with it rapid, which is what I like.
Yeah.
I know we're not going to get that this year.
Yeah, which means that they had it ready by the time they put the game out, which is nice. And that makes sense. But yeah, I think that they definitely don't seem to have it ready yet.
Yeah, I don't think it's ready yet. I mean, I kind of feel like they could have held this game another month and a half, because Have you experienced any bugs in your personal playthrough?
Uh, uh I experienced like one, like I think it was just like a developer oversight, but I don't think it was a bug. Which was one of the photo missions for me was to find the Greenwich mural, and I'm searching all over Greenwich, or like the district, trying to find this freaking mural. And I'm looking, and all of a sudden, like I have the camera app out, and it's like the thing has turned green to indicate that I'm looking at it. So I take the picture, and it's like great, and I'm like, it's a blank wall. I don't think they put it in.
For me, I had several hard crashes, like straight
Oh,
to the
really?
PS5 desktop. Yeah, I didn't get the funny one where Spider-Man just turns into a cube.
Oh, you didn't get the cube one?
Excuse me,
Hmm.
I did not get the cube one. I got stuck in slow motion.
Yes, you
I also,
said,
I
yeah.
also, also, I was also playing off the disc. So when I first played, I didn't have the day one patch installed.
Gotcha.
So my first, literally my first half of the game, I didn't have the day one patch installed, and that's where I got like being stuck in slow motion. Miles would just refuse to interact with the environment. Like I couldn't point launch or anything like that.
Oh,
That happened to
interesting.
me. But once the day one patch came out, I started getting hard crashes. I got
Interesting.
I I
So the
can we get
day
into
one crash,
spoilers?
yeah, oh, yeah, we're full spoilers. So the day one patch was worse than the launch version.
I don't know. Maybe it's a me certain I was doing because I also play the game. I like when I'm playing these type of games, I move very fast. So I don't
Sure,
know if maybe I was just moving faster than what the game could handle.
sure.
I don't know if it was like user error or if it was game, but it was um and we can talk about this. This is a full spoiler cast.
Hmm.
When I was playing as Venom and I'm picking up people and throwing them around, hard crash like in the middle of
Really
it, and I went to bed. I was like, oh, fuck, I'm just gonna play again tomorrow. So yeah, that happened to me. That wasn't fun at all. I'll tell you that. But
interesting. Okay,
I would say personally, the only game that on my PS5 that I've ever played the hard crash on me is Jedi Survivor, and I was playing on the non day one patch version.
gotcha,
So
gotcha.
um, I actually had no issues on Jedi Survivor. I guess I got lucky in that way. So,
Yeah,
but
interesting.
that game was the
Um,
only ever experience I've had with that.
yeah. Speaking of Jedi Survivor, I just came on like going into Spider-Man. I had just finished playing Fallen Order, which I know I'm like 4 or 5 years behind on. But
Yeah,
going from Fallen Order to Spider-Man, I definitely enjoyed Fallen Order more than I enjoyed Spider-Man.
yeah, I would say that. Well, I kind of have some notes here.
Yeah, yeah.
I was
I have a
wondering,
couple points that I want to talk about. What do you have written down?
well, I broke them down into like three main categories in terms of plot, combat and movement, and then the environment.
Okay,
So, do you want to get into kind of, you were talking about Fallen Order, so let's get into combat.
sure. Mine are
Um,
organized in dislikes and likes, so you're a
all
little bit more organized than me.
right. Well, maybe. So, how did you feel about the combat? Let's just start there. How did you feel about the combat overall?
Combat was too hectic. There's too many people. I think that there's too many undodgeable attacks. Like you have to parry them, which is just
Hmm.
blocking. You're not even parrying. Um,
Hmm.
but like there's too many attacks that you have to parry, and I felt like when I was playing, all I was doing was blocking because I wasn't able to. Like most of the time, I tried to do like the web throw where you like grab something and swing it around to throw it, and I get stopped about halfway through because I have to dodge from getting shot.
Yeah, I kind of felt the same way. So I have in my notes. I said the combat feels like a de-evolution of 2018.
For sure.
I feel like it just even compared to games in this similar genre, I actually kind of think Avengers has better combat sometimes. Because I feel like this game, it's like they wanted you to go for combos, but they don't have enough combos like animations or anything in it to make it worth it.
Right.
So you're doing the same moves over and over again.
Mhm.
And the way I kind of like to play this game is this is like Devil May Cry for me. Like I like to be in the air. I'm in the air,
Right.
tossing people, juggling people.
Right.
I'm just doing the same swing kick over and over again, the
Yeah.
same 4 hit combo
Yeah.
over and over and
Yeah.
over again. And when there's not enough gadgets, like
Yes, that was something I wanted to talk about. Why did
yeah,
they take away the gadget wheel?
yeah, they took away the gadget wheel to give us the ability wheel, which for Miles having the abilities rather than the gadgets makes sense for
Right.
Miles' character.
Right.
For Peter, Why do we get rid of the gadgets? Why I love the web bomb. We don't have the web bomb anymore. We have the ricket.
We don't have the trip mine anymore. Like
We don't have the chip
stealth was
mining.
so much fun in the first game because you could set trip mines and like no, not anymore. It's just
No,
yeah.
the stealth is broken down. Um, and can we curse this?
Sure.
I forget. Okay,
Sure.
where did the fucking arms come from? That's not explained at why he has the tentacle arms, like the
Yeah.
four
Yeah.
mechanical spider arms.
It's
You
just
just have
because
them.
yeah. It's just because when it becomes Venom, they need to like replace. They need to have some like stand-in for those like tendrils when he's not in the symbiote suit. But it doesn't make sense for it to be the arms
It,
now.
I, it like I feel like they would just sort of like, okay, we're gonna make this game. We're gonna do all these cool, interesting things. We're not gonna explain any of any of it.
Right.
Just
Right.
any of it.
I mean,
It's really annoying.
in the first game, one of the suit abilities, which they took away suit abilities, was the arms, and I like
Hmm.
that. But
Yeah,
the suit ability I liked the most in the first game was the spider drone because that just kicked ass.
yeah. Would you have something like this spider drone as a gadget now? But I just it's like I feel like the combat it you can be less you can't be as creative with it as in 2018 just because you have
Right.
less tools.
Right.
Um,
Like,
like
sorry.
uh,
With the gadgets, if we're still on gadgets, just really quickly, I don't understand. They gave us the ability wheel, and they gave us like the like half gadget wheel where you could still hold right trigger and press either any of the buttons in order to select the gadgets. Why couldn't we keep all the gadgets from the first game and just let us like swap those in that like
four
D-pad
spots.
in those four spots,
Yeah,
just like you can do with the abilities already. Like I don't understand why they had to take away the gadgets.
yeah. I don't understand why they had to take away the gadgets, and I found a lot of the gadgets to not be all that useful.
Oh, for sure.
The
A
only one
lot of
that the main one I used was the web shooters. So
yeah,
that's really all I used.
yeah. I felt like a lot of the gadgets weirdly overlap with the abilities. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's the one, let me see. Like the stun one, like Miles already has like a stun ability. There's the one
Mm-hmm.
that throws the enemies up in the air, which both Miles and Peter have the
Yeah,
ability that throws enemies up in the air. Um, there was the multi-web one that you could shoot and it would web multiple enemies, but as soon as you unlock the splash damage skill, then the same
yeah,
thing. Like as soon as you web one person, then it webs the two people next to him. So I don't know
yeah.
why there's so much like overlap.
Overlap.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of overlap. And Arkham Knight has been back in the news because they're adding a Pattinson.
Right, right, and they took it away,
Uh,
but
yeah,
I think it's
they're
just
at.
the Halloween patch that they
Yeah, I
leaked
think
a
it
little
came out.
early. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it came out a little too early. It's either that or to line up with the Switch launch of the whole trilogy. But I was just looking at videos of that, and I was like, Batman moves more like Spider-Man than Spider-Man does. Like I was watching
yeah,
Batman, he's doing flips and punching people in the face, and I'm like,
sure,
why is Batman is moving more like Spider-Man than Spider-Man does?
yeah,
And like there are really cool moves. Like my favorite thing that he does is the one where he like when you get next to a wall, he just kicks them repeatedly in the chest. Also, Spider-Man is definitely killing these people. These people are
oh for
dying.
sure, yeah,
But the one where you pin up against the wall, you kick them like 8 times in the chest, enough to
yeah,
leave it shattering, like leave them crumpled like a mess. But
right,
there's some cool moves like that, but it's like there's not enough. There's not enough.
right,
Not
right,
enough at
right.
all.
But talking about like you're kicking someone like 8 times in the chest, and some people it doesn't even take them down. It's like these people have way too much health.
Way too much. When you, which difficulty did you play on?
Whatever, amazing. It was just like the
Yeah,
second level
the
difficulty. Yeah,
the default one.
yeah,
So I played on amazing. I started on spectacular because you have to beat the game to unlock ultimate. So I started on spectacular,
right,
and I was like, these people will not go down.
yeah,
So then I switched to amazing,
hmm.
and it felt like there was no change. It felt like all they changed was now the enemies just don't hit us hard, but they're still, like you said earlier, there's way too many people on screen. Parrying is dumb. I'm Spider Man. Let me dodge.
Right,
Like I don't want to parry.
right,
And then I think it's not Dark Souls, guys. I don't want my Spider Man giving me Dark Souls.
yeah.
And then it's oh, excuse me, dang, I lost my train of thought. And then the easy difficulty is way too easy. Was
I
that
hadn't tried the easy
friendly?
difficulty.
Yeah, the friendly Spider-Man, or I think it's called friendly. Way too easy. So it's like I don't want to play on friendly because then it feels like I'm not even playing the game.
Right.
Amazing is more annoying than anything. If it's spectacular, is a little bit too hard.
Yeah.
So I know when New Game Plus comes out, I'm gonna play on Ultimate. I'm gonna be pissed off the whole time. Like, I'm definitely going through multiple controllers at that
Sure.
point.
Sure. Um, yeah, it's just the combat was weird. Another thing of the combat, which like doesn't affect the combat at all, but makes it more fun, was in the first game. There were so many more like Spider-Man quips. This game, like Spider-Man barely says anything. Like there's like no ad-libbing at all.
No, unless when you're the symbiote, he's just violent. He's just
Right. Right.
I
Right.
like
Right.
when you're the symbiote. He's like, "You want to fuck with me?" I was like, "Whoa, whoa, calm
Yeah.
down,
Yeah.
chill out,
But
dude."
I enjoyed like in the first game, like in the middle of combat, he'll just start like randomly like insulting enemies, which is fun because that's what
Yeah,
Spider-Man does, right?
that's what he does. And if like I said, this game feels like I feel like the only reason this game came out as early as it did is because we know they already said Wolverine is coming out next year,
Yeah,
and PlayStation would have zero exclusives coming out, like
sure.
zero first party games coming out. And so I feel like this game was pushed out maybe a little bit too early just because they had nothing else.
Right.
Like it was like we were gonna get nothing this year from PlayStation, except I think the only thing we got is Spider Man, and that's it from them.
Yeah.
Um, and I never know that I have on here. Have you ever played Web of Shadows?
I have not.
Okay, this story of this game is literally Web of Shadows, like the symbiote taking over New York and all that. It's
Sure.
literally the same thing that happened in Web of Shadows. The cool thing about Web of Shadows was how the combo system worked. And one of my favorite combos you could do in Web of Shadows was you could surf people. You could beat them up and then surf them down the side of buildings.
Gotcha.
And we're going back to our whole this combat doesn't feel as creative. You're doing the same moves you were doing in 2018, the same moves you were doing in Miles Morales. Like we have symbiote enemies. We have people who you could like. These are not normal people. I mean, there's normal people underneath them, but they're not feeling it.
Right.
Like
Right.
we
Right.
should be able to do some amazing destructive shit to these people. Like I
Right.
wanna, I wanna freaking throw them against the wall and have them go through walls. I want like obviously I know you can't do that, but I'm just saying I want
Yeah.
that visceralness of combat.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's not there, and that kind of feels like that goes into my kind of second section of the environment. Uh, I don't feel like we needed Queens and Brooklyn in this game at all. There's barely anything to do there.
Yeah. I agree.
It's cool that
There's
it's there,
some
but
like side content there, but for the main story, you're almost never in Brooklyn
yeah,
or
you're
Queens.
never there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You go to Coney Island, which
That's true.
I think Coney Island is that in Queens? This is in Brooklyn.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not
No
from New
idea.
York.
Yeah.
All I
No
know
idea.
about New York is GTA 4. All I know about New York is what it looks like as Liberty City and Grand Theft Auto.
Gotcha.
So, what nevertheless is, even though there's lots of stuff going on in the city, it feels so empty.
Oh, especially after you've 100% completed, it is extremely empty. Like
Yeah,
even in the first game with Kingpin's like whatever it is, the construction sites, you can go back and replay those. Like these ones, like you can't go back and replay any of those missions.
yeah. Oh, so you can go back and redo like the symbiote nest or any of that?
Not as far as I've seen on Symbiote Nest, no.
Oh man, yeah. So that brings my bigger point of this game. What I really liked about the Spider-Man 2018 is how the city would change throughout the game.
Right.
And so the big point, like the big middle point of Spider-Man 2 is when everybody, or Spider-Man 2018 is when they all break out of raft. Now
Right.
you see the prisoners, you see them creating these fortresses on top of buildings.
Yes.
And that's really, really cool in this game. Like the symbiotes, they interact like they're symbiote hordes that roam through the streets. They're
Right.
attacking people, but the city feels like everybody's going on about their business. Like there's still cars driving around. There's still people walking the streets, going to go
Oh,
shopping and stuff
really?
like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like this
The way
city.
I played it, I had already completed every district by that point where the symbiotes are like released. Um
Mm,
and so like the only thing I had left to do was the nests. And so like I I finished the story where the nests were unlocked. I quickly completed the nests and then got back into the story. And so like I didn't have a lot of time to free roam the city and see that.
oh yeah, you free roam the city. It's like nothing is going on, and this goes into my that goes into like with the whole tutorial thing with salmon. Like, does this game take place over like 3 days? It feels like it takes place over the course of 3 days
Yeah.
because the New York is covered in sand from when Sandman attacks, and then like
Yeah.
the next day, Venom takes over the whole city.
Yeah.
Like it feels like
Oh, you forget
the
Craven has his brief stint as something over the city. Who knows?
yeah Craven. I mean, I
I
don't
don't
like
think
him.
I've ever seen a more one-dimensional character than Craven.
I don't think I Craven's Last Hunt is one of the most important stories in Spider-Man's history,
Right.
and I feel like they did not do it justice.
Yeah.
I feel like there are parts where they do lots do it really well, and there's parts where they don't. Um,
Sorry, are we still on combat? Are we moving on to or
oh
what?
well, now
What
I'm talking about environment. Sorry, now
environment?
I'm
Okay,
talking.
cool.
Yeah,
Environment.
so yeah,
Yeah.
so talk about
We'll
environment.
save
So
Craven for when we get to story.
yeah, I have a lot to say about the story of
Okay.
this
Okay.
game,
Okay.
and I know you kind of feel similar.
Yeah.
But what other stuff did you notice about the environment?
Let me see what I have. Uh, okay. Just one more thing. I think the brutes took way more damage than they should have. Like,
Oh,
honestly, those brutes was super tough. Like,
the big gray symbiotes,
yeah,
or the
or just the bigger like guys.
yeah,
Like
the ones
they
with the
took
axes and all that.
yeah, they took way too much damage, and like the ones with the shield, like I could not figure out how to take the shield away from them.
No, you have to unlock it. You have to unlock it in the ability tree,
I
and
I
then
did.
it
Like
does.
I still couldn't figure out how to do it.
Oh yeah, so I think you have to double tap triangle, and sometimes it doesn't work. So like, I've noticed that
Oh, gotcha.
sometimes it just doesn't work.
Yeah,
So what I started doing was I would just build up my rage, just take him out with the symbiote rage, with venom blast, and just
yeah, yeah.
rip that because that was literally faster than trying to fight them.
Right, right. Um, environment. Okay, I like when stuff was unlocked. I really felt like the city felt more alive. There was like higher traffic, more pedestrians, like different things happening. Like in the first game, obviously it was on the PS4, and so they didn't have the ability to have like such like dedicated like processes to running, like just having more simulated uh, crowds and all that kind of stuff. But I definitely feel like it was able to fill the city more, which was interesting, and I definitely like that for like the environment of the game.
Yeah,
Like people are pointing out how like sometimes random car crashes would happen, and you would see people like piled up on the street just like waiting for something to like.
that happened in 2018. So I replayed 2018 of Miles Morales leading up to this game, and I'm like, these are the same car accidents that what happened in my game.
I didn't
It's
I
like in the
didn't
same
realize that.
spots. Yeah, you're in the same spots. Oh, it's like it's cool. It
Yeah.
is cool. I like it. I'm Spider Man. When I see a car accident, it doesn't even need to be like a red pop up. It could be something that I see as a game. I should be able to help that person get to the hospital. It's
Yeah.
small things like
Yeah.
that
Yeah, I agree.
bother me. It's like
You'll find the kids'
all of
red
this.
balloons.
Yeah, it's find kids red balloons. That's a real Spider Man 2 throwback right there. This is like I saw something on Twitter, because I handle the official OTOT podcast Twitter.
That's right.
And I saw something that really got on my nerves. And I kind of understood where you was coming from. He's like, this open world is so boring. You can't ride the subway. That was like a dumb one. You can't ride a subway. You can't get a New York slice of pizza. You can't interact with the people on the ground. And I'm like, yeah, they're low key kind of right. Like you can't.
Uh, it's a Spider-Man game. I mean,
Yeah,
you can still interact with people on the ground. I mean, you walk around, you see the triangle pop up. You can either give them
yeah,
a high five or take a picture or something like that.
yeah. No, I would say like I want to be Spider Man. I don't want to ride the subway or anything like that. But it would be cool if there were more things going on in the world that weren't necessarily like random events. Like when you're playing
Right.
a Fallout or Skyrim or these games, sometimes you just walk through a town and there's a random fight going on. That type of stuff is what I want to see. Like sometimes I'm Spider Man. I don't want to necessarily be alerted to every single break-in that's happening. But what if I were just swinging by one time and I saw a break-in happening and I could go interact with it
Right.
without it being a controlled setup like in like alert on my map. The game, this game holds your hands a lot. It doesn't allow you to
Right.
miss anything.
Right.
And I get it. It's a Spider-Man game. It's for kids. It's not like this is for
It's
like
a
the
different genre of game than Skyrim
yeah
or Starfield.
yeah. It's a different genre of game, but I'm just like this is the world is just like the set dressing. Like it feels like
Right.
everything revolves around me as Spider-Man, which I also like and I also kind of dislike at the same time. It's hard to
Sure.
explain.
Sure.
Like I like that I'm Spider-Man. I want the world to revolve around me, but I'm also Spider-Man. Why am I helping a kid with their homecoming proposal?
Yeah.
It's like I am that homecoming proposal. I would much rather be. You know what this game doesn't have?
What?
Taskmaster stuff.
I
You
was
know
just
how
about to
the
ask,
first
where is Taskmaster? He
yeah,
was on Craven's map at the like when they introduced Craven, and then
mm,
nothing at all. And I'm like,
nothing at
Taskmaster,
all.
what the heck?
Like why tease it? Like my favorite thing about Spider-Man 2018 is how it kind of made the world feel important.
Yeah.
You know what you could do in Spider-Man 2018? You can pass by Doctor Strange, the Sanctum Sanctorum, and he'll say something.
Yeah.
Small stuff like that.
Yeah.
What I did
Like I
find
said,
really
there's just even in quips in combat, but like around the city, Spider-Man doesn't say very much anymore either.
doesn't talk at all. I would have been fine with them reusing voice lines.
Sure.
You would have been. I would have been cool with them reusing voice lines. Like I would have been completely fine with that. This world just feels very flat. Like
I
it
agree.
feels very two dimensional.
Yeah.
Um,
There's not a lot of personality, but there is a lot in it, which I
yeah,
think is it is quality or quantity over quality.
yeah,
Which yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Can we? I forgot. I have one more point that I'm very adamant about for
yeah.
combat. Why is every single boss fight 4 stages?
Oh
Unnecessary.
yeah, unnecessary.
Unnecessary.
For Scream, spoiler, Scream fight.
Yeah.
Where you fight Mary
Yeah.
Jane in Scream?
It's just because the writers are just too long-winded. They can't consolidate their writing, and so they need to have 4 stages of Peter and MJ's conversation back and back, and it's like, uh, be more
Well,
concise. I don't need 4 rounds of this.
you know what it feels like to me? It feels like this game was gonna be like 10 hours long, and
Yeah.
they're like, we need to pad it. We need to have more padding. This game, you're charging $70 for this game, and there's only 10 hours of story, and they added 5 more hours, and a lot of that 5 more hours comes from I died the first boss fight when you fight Craven as a symbiote Peter.
Yeah.
That first boss fight,
Yeah.
I died so much, and I feel like that's the reason why.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's the fights super long, super unnecessary, just to pad out the time. You said you died. I didn't die in the Craven fights. I didn't die very much in like any of the boss fights. It was just like super boring because it was like I have to do this 4 times.
Yeah, I crashed the most during the lizard fight.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, do you fight lizard twice or one time? When you're in the
You fight.
sewers
Okay. Okay.
in a
Yeah.
big room where you have to like just crawling on the vents and stuff, I crashed the most there.
Okay.
I want to say I died maybe 5 times because for me personally, I don't know if you've experienced this. Sometimes the parry window would just lie. Like it
Yeah.
would say, "Oh,
Oh,
you
for
need to
sure.
parry right now," and it was like I click the button, I whiffs it, just immediately kills me.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So
And one of the things is like they have so many like parryable attacks or like undodgeable attacks that you have to parry back to the point where like you parry one and while I'm still in the animation of parrying the one, I get killed by the other.
hmm or they do the one I hate the most is parry, parry. Now you have to jump,
Yes.
and it's like, but these characters, but you can't just dodge. You have to do a
Right.
jump and then dodge.
Yeah.
And then sometimes because of the way the game works, sometimes you'll still be in a parry animation, so they won't jump,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you'll be getting hit with a IQ.
Yeah. It's
With that,
way too fast.
I'm getting angry right now just thinking about it. I'm getting angry like legitimately right now. I'm like, oh,
um yeah, what else do I have about combat? I think that was all that I had about combat. We talked about Taskmaster. I was like the Taskmaster stuff was fun. It was like challenging yourself to do like stealth missions and stuff. I mean they have the Mysteriums, but the Mysteriums is all combat. There is no stealth challenge. And I feel like the stealth was super held back on this. Like
mm-hmm.
it was super hard to get like any stealth done all the way through because of the way like they just have like 3 people paired up. You can't even separate them because like only one
Yeah,
of them will be pulled off, and like
yeah.
it's tough.
Or did you even use Miles' ability to go invisible, his camouflage? 'Cause I
I
legit
used it the one
forgot that.
time, the one time the game forced you to. But other than that, no.
Yeah, yeah. I forgot that was an ability he had. I completely. First off, Miles' moveset, he is a really cool moveset, but I didn't use half of it most of the time. I used like the Venom Punch, and then I used whatever the upgraded version of that was, and then the one where he pulls all the enemies towards him and then blasts them away.
Yeah,
I used that a lot,
yeah,
and that was pretty much all I used.
sure. Oh, one more thing. The targeting was terrible. I don't know how you choose the targeting, but it almost never chose the right person I wanted to target.
Oh no, it was giving me like this is a real throwback. Arkham City, where sometimes you'd be punching somebody and then you would fly across the map to punch somebody else.
Yeah,
I'm like, that was why are you hitting not the guy right in front of you? Like that
yeah,
that's what it
yeah,
was doing. It was doing that a lot. And I'm like, dude, or I would lose my combo because Peter would just turn around, kick in the air, and then come back
yeah.
and hit the person. I'm like,
Right.
I lost my combo. I was like a 30 hit combo,
Yeah.
and now I've lost it. Like now I'm pissed
Yep.
off.
Yep.
So
Uh, no idea. Like one of the things, like the archers, Craven's hunters, like the archer characters, I hated them so much
hmm
because like they would just hop around from place to place. I don't know how they were jumping that quickly. They're supposed to be normal people, but they're like
yeah,
making
flying.
yeah, they're basically flying around the map. But
The
like one of the easiest things to do like was to just web them against the wall, which is one of the abilities that you can do.
yeah.
Except I could never target them. It always targeted someone on the ground, and I'm like, no, I
Mhm.
want to take out the people that are shooting me first because those are the hardest people.
My favorite thing is what do is you could web zip,
Yeah,
and so I'd be looking at the people like Craven's Hunters would be on poles or something. I'd be looking directly at a camera, focused on them.
yeah,
I'd zip, I'd click triangle to web zip to them, and it would zip to the person behind them, or it
yeah,
zip to the person to the side of them, and I'm like,
yeah,
how did you even do this? And
yeah.
I also can't tell. Does the game highlight who you're hitting? Because I can't
It
tell
does.
who I'm
It's a
targeting.
very, very faint white line.
Okay, yeah, because I was saying half the time I can't tell who I'm targeting because a lot of times I'd be in the combat and then I'd have to face the brutes and it would start hitting them. I'm like, no, I'm trying to take out all the small guys first.
Yeah.
That's like my thing.
There's a
Eh,
setting you can turn on which makes it like more prominent.
mm.
Um,
It's fun. Also,
but
this game has the worst setting menus I've ever seen in my life.
oh,
It
for
is
sure.
so like
Yeah,
unclear.
yeah, yep. Um, yeah, yeah. I looking through my notes, I think that's all I have on combat. Um, environment. I liked the environment. Like I said, there was a lot more to it. Um, just wasn't a lot more quality to it, I guess. Um, and it's fine. I do think that like in the what are they the animations, not animations, or the cutscenes. Um, the cutscenes, I feel like the fire and the water simulations are far from the best I've ever seen.
No,
They're it's like they pulled the fire and water animation from the PS4 version.
it probably is the same.
Yeah,
So what I've noticed is because the game has ray tracing,
right,
60 FPS ray tracing, no matter what you do, if you're
right,
performance or fidelity, you're gonna get ray tracing. I feel like a lot of the environmental budget went to lighting
sure,
because the lighting in this game is probably
yeah,
outside of Cyberpunk one of the most well lit games I've ever seen. And there's really great texture work. So like on Peters and Miles' suits, on the enemies' suits and stuff. God, I love to zoom in and just look at the detail, and you can see the ribbing and the stitching on their outfits and stuff. And I was showing it to my friend Jose, and he's like, "But sometimes the buildings look like they're from Saints Row 2 on their 360." And
yeah,
I'm like, nah, bro. I was like, when you're like zooming by and you're going so fast, you don't notice it. But if you were
yeah,
to zoom in and look at it, then
yeah.
yeah, it
One
does
thing
look
that
like
they
hot
did
garbage.
fix was, I mean, a super cool feature that they had in the PS4 Spider-Man game was the apartments. Like the apartments were essentially like flat, like matte paintings that would like uh, shift with the parallax of the camera in order to make it look like it was 3D. And so every apartment, like every window, you could peer into, which was super cool. And then for this one, it seems like they like actually just had like fully formed apartments with people inside of it. And so
Yeah,
like it did give more substance to the apartments,
yeah,
but it was like, yeah, I
yeah.
mean the texture could have been better.
Yeah, the textures. And I was explaining to him, like, as I read correctly, this game used what they call PBR textures, which is physical based rendering.
Hmm.
And so what that means is they took real bricks
Yeah,
and textured them out and use it to make it. And when the light hits it, it makes it look like like a photograph, like real bricks and
sure,
real metal and real street signs. So the game's art looks heavily realistic, which I almost think kind of detracts from the story going on
sure.
at the same time. Did you ever play the Ultimate Spider-Man game on PS2?
No, no, I never had a
So,
PS2.
okay, never had a PS2. So for the people who don't understand, Ultimate Spider-Man was started in 2001, and then
Hmm.
I think the game came out in '03.
Yeah.
And so that game, what it did was it was heavily comics inspired, obviously, because it's a straight rip from the storylines of the comics.
Hmm.
And so it had the comic book aesthetic. It had like all the what is it, the Dico dots? I think that's what they call it.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, that type of stuff. They had scenes where it had the Kirby crackle, and the characters were rendered like they were comic book characters. Like you're looking at an actual like oil, like kind of oily more than anything drawing.
Sure.
Um, and what I feel like this game lost by focusing on realism is it lost its aesthetic.
Right.
And so this game, even though it looks beautiful, it's not the most beautiful looking game I've ever seen.
Right.
Um, there are other Sony first party games that beat that. Freaking Death Stranding has this game beat by a
Oh, for
million
sure.
times. Horizon Forbidden West is genuinely one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen, even the
Yeah.
game kind of sucks. But it is just like the aesthetic of the game was just not there. Even in some of the villains' designs, it's kind of like Wraith, Yuri Wraith
Yeah.
is just a woman in a purple suit.
Yeah.
Like she's just in a purple leather suit.
Yeah.
Um,
Agent
and
Venom's suit was wild. Looked like the Black Michelin Man.
still like the Black Machine. I like the Agent Venom suit too. I did like Agent Venom. I like Agent Venom in the game. That whole setup. Do you want to get into a plot?
I still have other stuff I want to talk about for
Oh yeah,
environment.
let's talk about the other stuff because I want to skip around it because I have so much to say about
Okay,
the
okay,
plot.
okay. Um, let's see. Environment. I think that uh, collectibles. Collectibles were so much worse than the other two games. Like
Mm-hmm.
the
Agreed.
first one, with the backpacks, collecting backpacks, great because it gives you so much insight into Peter Parker's early years as Spider-Man. This one, you're
Mm-hmm.
just collecting spider bots, which are references to already established characters. You're not getting any new information out of
Mm-hmm.
these
Until you,
collectibles.
when you finish them, you get a little cameo from Delilah from Into
Yeah,
the Spider Verse or Across the
yeah.
Spider
Who
Verse. Who
cares?
cares?
Who cares?
Hey, who
I
cares?
was like, what is this? I was like, I caught 42 of these spider bots for this animation.
Yeah,
I was like, you
yeah,
can't even like have like, don't even have them say anything, but even have like Peter B. Parker or like Miguel there. Like,
yeah.
you can
This
have them
unimportant
drawn in.
character.
Yeah, you can have them
Yeah,
drawn in without actually
who's
having them
not even
say
in the
something.
movie too. Delilah's not in the movies either.
Yeah,
She doesn't show up in the movies at all. She's just a voice.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, made no sense. Um, environment during free roam, there was not enough like character duo. Like you would sometimes see the other Spider-Man fighting people, and like you could join in. I would have liked for there to be a lot more of that.
hmm
Like I
It
just found like
was.
I think in the entirety of like my playthrough, I probably had the other Spider-Man join me. I think 3 times in a mission. It was wild.
It was opposite for me. I had it happen all the time. I had
Really?
it happen with Wraith. You can do it with Wraith,
Yeah.
Agent Venom, and the other Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So I had it happen to me all the time. But you want to know where it happened the most, which I found weird? It was
What?
all in Brooklyn. It was all in like Brooklyn and
Interesting.
Lower Manhattan is where it
Interesting.
happened the most for me. I don't know if that's just because that's where I spent the most time in the game, just because I like swinging around Brooklyn because it's nice to see Brooklyn in a Spider-Man game, or if
Sure.
it's just where it happens the most. I don't know, but it was cool seeing Rafe in combat. Um,
Yeah.
Outside of
Yeah.
the side content, it was cool seeing Agent Venom, even though he's barely in the game.
Right.
Um, for me, like what
I
happened?
never had Wraith or Agent Venom. I knew it was possible. I just only had the other Spider-Man.
Dude, so for me, what happened is I saw Agent Venom show up one time, and then Harry is like dying. And the next time I saw So he showed up. I was like, what did I miss? He was just outside 2 seconds ago. Was there like a cutscene I missed? Did I walk away? And I was like, and then I walk in the building and Harry's like still limping over with his cane. What the fuck just happened? But yeah, that was what happened to me. I was like, what did I miss?
Environment wise, which I guess is an environment, but it's texture. Somehow they made everyone uglier. I don't know how, but they made everyone uglier.
Oh, dude.
Consistently.
MJ's face.
MJ's face, Miles' hair, Peter's face. It was like, how did they make every character uglier?
We need to get some black people up in Insomniac's office. I'm gonna be clear. This is not a diss to anybody. They gave Miles Morales the black lesbian haircut. That's what they gave him. They gave Miles. That's gonna be the thumbnail. Attack of the black lesbian haircut. Because why? And story spoilers again. His suit at the end of the game, their Insomniac horrible looking suit.
The red and black variant was better.
Yo, it still looks bad.
But it's still bad.
It's not a suit. He's got Adidas on. Yeah. It's not a suit.
Well, they're trying to sell their tie-in sneaker.
Bro, if you can't tell that that's Miles, the fact that his hair is out and he's wearing the same shoes he always wear to class, yeah. I was pissed off. I was like, this is not a secret outfit. This is not a costume. I know who you are.
Yeah.
There's no voice changer going. At least with Peter, he's a head to toe. Can't tell who that is. Sure. But my favorite thing about Spider-Man is, oh my god, I just forgot the creator of Spider-Man's name. I just blinked out on it for a second. Not Dick Hill, but the other guy, Stan Lee. Stan Lee said this. That's really bad that I forgot Stan Lee for a second. But Stan Lee said the whole thing about Spider-Man is no matter Spider-Man can be anybody, but he's not everybody.
Right. So,
I can envision a Hispanic dude under this mask, a black guy, a white guy, any type of person.
Not a black lesbian.
Miles Morales, that's just a black kid. That's a black teenager from Brooklyn. And you can tell he's from Harlem, bro. No matter what you do. You could definitely tell who Miles Morales is.
Right.
Everybody in Harlem knows where his mom stays. So everybody knows who he is.
Yeah, his mother's a councilwoman. It's like, yeah.
I was like, that guy kind of sounds like Spider-Man. Every time I see him,
also,
got the same haircut.
Also, why is he hanging around Brooklyn Visions Academy? That's creepy.
Yeah. Like, why is he always at Brooklyn Visions Academy? Spider-Man, ain't you like 25? No, he's 15. But it's like, dude, you're here too often. You're here too
often. Environment. I think that the Mysteriums were pretty interesting, at least using the teleportation, or whatever the portal effect was that they used in the Black Cat mission, which Black Cat mission completely unnecessary.
Yeah, why was Black Cat even in the game? She was completely. And I can avoid it.
I think it was because they introduced her in the first game, and so they're like, oh, we need to do something with her, but then they have absolutely no use for her. So they're just like, well, we're gonna give her one mission and send her off to France.
Yeah, I'm just gonna talk about the plot for a little bit. I do want to get into this. This game, as I understand it, it was supposed to take place 9 months after Miles Morales, correct?
Yeah.
It feels like there's been years in between these games.
Sure.
The whole thing about most of Spider-Man's villains being reformed, like Tombstone being reformed, Mysterio being reformed, Sandman. It's like, when did all this happen? Was this like a tie-in? Did I not play? I played the DLC. I completed the DLC, so did I just miss this? Like, what is going on?
Yeah, especially
here?
Tombstone. I mean, Mysterio and Sandman, I get they weren't in the first game. Like, they could have been in the process of reforming, which is cool. But yeah, definitely. Oh God, who? The person we just talked about.
Black Cat.
Black Cat. Yes.
Yeah.
9 months later, and she has a girlfriend that's in danger and in Paris. It's like, what happened?
Yeah. Wow. Like, what happened in between the DLC and this game? Because she's not in Miles Morales at all.
Yeah.
Like, how does Miles know her? Like, so much of this game goes
Well, they kind of go
unexplained.
into like Miles not knowing her, and that's why like MJ asked him because she didn't know who Miles was, and so they're like,
Mm,
it's better for her to go than Peter because she would take it seriously from Miles.
Miles, yeah.
Yeah.
But even from just the beginning of the game, it starts off kind of crazy.
Oh, for sure.
We the last time we see Harry is a day in the Spider-Man one. He's in a tank,
Yep.
being like healed with the Venom symbiote. And in the beginning of Spider-Man 2, you see him, MJ, he rolls up and is like, "Hey, sorry, I lied to you about being in a tank." I was like, "When was that discussed?
Right.
Did I skip a cutscene? Like, I
Yeah.
didn't skip any cutscenes. Like, when was this discussed? Like, you finding out that Harry was not in
Yeah.
Europe this whole time on the
Yeah.
trip. Like, when did that happen? Because
Well, I mean, I think they learned in the MJ sneak mission of the first game where she was sneaking around Norman's apartment, right? She learns that Harry's not actually there, but I don't think they ever like have that conversation for like her to explain how she knows that. Like, yeah, I was sneaking through your apartment. Sorry.
yeah, hey, that felt weird to me. Um, and let's start just from the beginning of the story.
What was I gonna say? There
Uh,
was one thing I was gonna say. Oh my goodness. I can't remember it right now. Okay, yeah. Start from the beginning, I guess. Yeah.
yeah. So just we talked about the Sandman fight scene. That tutorial took entirely too long in my opinion. It was like 2 hours long. Was that
Right.
whole
Oh, for
tutorial
sure,
that
for
them?
sure.
It was cool, and I liked how they showed. Oh, these like look how fast the PS5 is get it loaded. We can throw you across the whole map and shoot you back, and then not
Right, right,
they
right.
no loading screens or anything like that. It's cool, unnecessary. Um,
Oh, sorry. Really quickly,
yeah.
environment. What do you think of the web wings? I think it was a good idea. I like the jet stream, but I definitely think that Arkham Games does it better.
Um, I feel like the web wings. Yeah, in Arkham, you're more gliding. In
Right.
this game, like you're flying sometimes.
No,
Um,
I definitely feel like in this one, there is no like in the Arkham games, there's always the ability for you to dive and then gain altitude by going like into those dips.
mhm,
In this one, I was never able to get to a higher altitude than I started with, so it's you're always just falling.
mm, yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. I barely used the web. The only time I used the web wings was to cross the Hudson. I'm pretty sure that's the Hudson River on
Gotcha.
that
Yeah,
side.
yeah, yep.
That's the only time I would use it because I got so good with the swinging and so good. I had swinging assistance set to like 1 or 2,
Yeah.
not 0 because I was too bad. But I was I would do a loop de loop and then
Yeah.
fly myself across the map. And then I would like
Gotcha.
I would always try to stick near a bridge so I could whip swing underneath the bridge. And also, the
Gotcha.
game does this cool thing where, as long as you have enough momentum, you'll kind of slide across the water, and
Mhm.
you can jump and point launch. You can point launch off boats and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes that was faster than using the weapons. So that's kind of like how I did it.
That's true. I just feel like the web swinging was slower than the web wings for me at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it can't be that way. It can't be that way. Did you upgrade your traversal all the way?
Yeah,
Interesting then. Interesting. I felt like it was pretty fast. Um, you turned off like all the assistance and everything.
I did.
Interesting. I don't know.
Like
I don't know. I
especially
was pretty
like
fast.
I had my traversal maxed out and like in the lizard mission like I failed the chasing the lizard through the city twice because like, I just couldn't keep up.
Mm-hmm. I did notice that during chase scenes, it was literally just easier to use the web links than it was to
Yeah.
um, web swing because the people are moving in like the thing about Spider-Man and his web swinging is it's cool, but he can't really deal with sharp 90-degree turns
Right,
all
right,
that well
right.
because of his momentum. And so a lot of the times you'd have them go forward 1 block, cut left, and cut back right. And I'm like,
Right.
okay,
Right.
I can't deal with this fast enough. So
Right.
sometimes it's easier to just, you know what, past belief resistance. I'm just gonna web glide across.
Yeah, I true, but I also feel like it was super hard to control like fine movements with the glider, which made
Mm,
the chasing the like bird drone missions so difficult.
Mm-hmm. I honestly, you know what I did? I get to those, I click pause, skip activity.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, I'm skipping these. I'm not doing these. I did the
Oh,
first
dude.
three
It,
ones, and I couldn't deal with it anymore.
it was so hard. And like it was nice at least because like after you fail it the first time, then it makes it significantly shorter.
Oh
um
yeah,
so like you fail the mission the first time and then like the download speed because you're like supposed to be keeping within some distance to download data off of it. The download speed is like 3 times as fast. So like
yeah. It
it does
feels
make
like
it
I'm
easier.
downloading off a dial-up chasing those things, man. It
Yeah.
feels so good, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do. I'm Spider-Man. Let me fight stuff. Why are there
Yeah.
not enough? Why
Don't
are
make me
there
chase
not enough
stuff.
side activities where I'm
But
fighting
with that
stuff?
being said, the side or the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man mission with Howard and the birds, fantastic. I loved that.
I've seen it on TikTok. I haven't played it yet.
Oh,
I
you
have
have
seen
to
it on
play it. You've
TikTok.
got to go. You've got to go play it. It's so
Yeah,
good.
it seems sad. I don't know how I can deal with that.
It is.
Like,
Like the song they play.
yeah,
Like it. Very. Which is why I was telling you this earlier, like days ago. But when I was playing, I really thought Peter was gonna die because so many of those side missions deal
all
with
right.
death.
Well, you know what? Major spoilers for the end of the game. You know how they're setting up the third game.
Yeah.
Carnage is definitely going to be a major force in the third game, and the Green
Did
Goblin.
you finish the flame missions
I
finally?
did finish the
Okay,
flame missions
gotcha.
finally.
Yeah,
So that sets up Carnage, and you know, in the comics, when Carnage and Green Goblin got with each other, they were up
true,
to some devious type of time.
true.
Lots of people were dying. I
You
my
don't think
theory,
Carnage might be a DLC?
if they
I think,
wasted
I
Carnage
think,
in a
I
DLC,
think
I will be
Cletus
upset.
Cassidy and Carnage will be a DLC, and then probably Norman and the Goblin might be a DLC, and then the third game is going to be Carnage and the Goblin coming together.
I'm thinking. So I have two ways to feel about this. I feel like they're either setting up Null and the
Hmm.
symbiote invasion
Okay,
because the game does deal with that a lot.
right.
Um, or they're setting Carnage and Green Goblin working together to take over New York for the fifth time in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So the Carnage stuff is really cool. I did like that side mission a lot. I think it's probably my favorite side content in a game this year, actually, kind of in my opinion, because I feel two ways about this. I don't like when people set up major story ramifications
Sure,
in side content,
sure, sure.
but as far as side quests go, it was heavily focused on combat, which I enjoy because I'm Spider-Man. I want to fight
Right,
stuff,
right, right, right.
and it forces you to go all over the map, which I really like. It doesn't make you stay
Yes,
in the one area over and over
yes,
and over again.
yes.
So
I agree.
I thought that was really cool.
Okay.
I don't know why they included Rafe in the game because she barely like she shows up for those
Yeah.
things and then she's barely a part of it. So
Right.
I,
Yeah.
I just
I
feel
don't
like the
get it.
only reason she's in the game is because they set it up in 2018 or
Yeah.
the DLC for 2018.
Right. Right. Okay. Sorry. Back to story. Now we can go
Yeah,
story from the beginning.
yeah. From the beginning, we already talked about how the salmon stuff was kind of took too long. We
Yep.
talked about the Harry stuff. What is Insomniac's obsession with making us ride bikes?
I don't know. The bike missions were weird.
Yeah, I don't want to ride a bike. Spider,
Yeah.
why are
I
you
don't like.
slowing me down?
Yeah. Like, I don't understand. Why do I have to spam X to pedal faster? Like,
Yeah,
I don't get
I'm
it.
not playing Grand Theft Auto. Like,
Yeah.
come on now. I don't want to do that. That was weird to me.
Because that happened 3 times.
Yeah, it happens. It happened 3 times you ride a bike, and then there's a
It
side
happens.
mission
No,
too.
it happens with Harry, which is the first time. It
Mm,
happens in the flashback, um,
mm.
where Peter's getting the job at the Bugle, and then the side mission is the third time.
There was a flashback where Peter gets a job at the Bugle.
Yeah.
Is it part of a side mission?
It might be.
It has to be because I didn't see that in the main story. I didn't even know that.
Gotcha.
So
No, yeah,
Pete,
they make you ride a bike there as well.
yeah, no, I hate that. I would hate that. Oh, I'm probably not ever gonna 100% this game because that pissed me off right there. Um, yeah, but the obsession with riding bikes. I mean, this is obsession with slowing us down. I understand you have to pad out the game because you can't release a 10-hour game for $70. I get it,
Yeah.
but there's better ways to pad out time than making us
Right.
ride bike spaces.
Right.
Like the whole thing with us as Peter going through his high school, it was cool, but it felt like this could have been a cutscene.
Sure.
And the whole idea of like sneaking around the school and stuff, there was more stealth in that one
Oh,
section of
for
the
sure.
game than the rest of the entire
Oh,
game.
for sure. For sure.
Yeah,
There
and
was
it wasn't
nothing
even
that,
good stealth.
like, it would have been nice where, like, in the first game, there were sections which required stealth. It was just
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, you can do stealth if you want, but we're going to make it extremely difficult, and it's probably just going to be easier to just jump in and take them all out. But the first
Yeah,
game, it's like, if you don't do this stealthily, then you fail the mission, which is nice.
yeah, I kind of prefer that more.
Yeah.
Like, and that's like it's something that's scared to let you fail.
Yeah.
They're scared to let you fail. They're
Yeah.
scared to let you make mistakes.
Sure.
And I'm okay with there being mistakes in my games. Um, One of my biggest pet peeves in writing is when the story introduces a new character and they introduce that new character by letting that new character kill off the previous villains
Mm,
and stuff like that.
right.
And I kind of like,
And Craven does it off screen.
dude, the fact that Craven kills basically all of Peter's rogues gallery off screen is, if we had a video version of this podcast, I would be throwing my headset right now to understand how angry I am. You
Yeah.
know what? They kill Rhino. It's off screen, and it's not even
Yeah.
on the map.
I
It's
know.
off map. It's
It's
off.
an
It's off.
it's an unused like Craven hideout that just has Rhino's head mounted to a wall.
Mm-hmm. Shocker. They kill Shocker off screen. They kill
Yeah.
Vulture off screen.
Yeah. They
Would
kill
they
Electro
show
off
the
screen.
yeah Electro off screen? They do show us killing Scorpion. Um,
I would have
Doc.
loved to play as like what would have been really cool is if they let you play as Craven for like certain side missions to watch him like to
Hunt
play
down.
him killing. Yeah.
It's crazy how they're adapting Craven's
If
last
they
hunt. We
wanted to
don't see
if they
Craven
wanted to
hunting.
pad out the game with extra boss fights, just give us like a quick 2 round boss fight between Shocker and Vulture and Electro and like let us play as Craven killing them, you know?
Yeah, got it. It's Craven's last hunt, but Craven doesn't hunt anything. He lets everybody do the work for him. It's like literally his people. First off, how much money does Craven have to have, in my estimation, 4,000 people working for him? Like, because I
4,000 of
definitely
the
kill
best hunters in the world working for him.
best hunters of the world, hunting down legitimate supervillains with no powers.
Yeah.
That's the part that gives me. Like, you're fighting Electro. You mean the
Yeah.
dude who has electricity coursing through his bodies at all time?
Yeah.
And you, random man with a crossbow, got him, and you
Yeah.
mounted his head to a wall.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
First off, this game should have went
Right.
for rated M,
Sure.
or at
Sure.
least a higher like. It was rated T for teen, right? Or was it rated E for everybody?
I don't know.
You know what? I don't know where my case is. I thought it was in my book bag. It's not in my book bag. I think it's
Gotcha.
rated T for teen, but I was not the biggest fan of that.
Yeah. Craven's last hunt, but he doesn't hunt himself. He just has people hunt for him and he comes in to finish the kill. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Like what is like who decided that? Like it would have been if you want extra story content, let me play as Craven. Like why not like you let me play as Venom, which was super fun. I loved playing as Venom. Let me play as Craven and give me a couple extra boss fights where I can kill the Sinister Six.
you know what would have been really cool? Because Taskmaster also kind of did this in the first game, randomly ambush you in the
Right.
middle of the city, and
Right.
it could be, can help the city feel more alive. It doesn't have to be a boss fight. Maybe just a couple seconds, like 20 seconds of a fight. He has one singular health bar. Then you defeat him and he runs back up. He'll
Right.
ambush you again in like
Right.
5 hours of gameplay
Right.
time,
Right.
until it happens in the story and it needs
Yeah,
to
which is
happen.
why like the entire time I was like, when am I gonna get what am I gonna get got? What am I gonna get got? Because I was
Yeah,
waiting for Taskmaster to pop up and he never did.
never did. Um, yeah, Kraven's last time he doesn't do anything. I get Kraven's whole thing was he was dying and he wanted to hunt people.
But it's
Get his
still
last
still
victory.
extremely
It's
one dimensional.
very one-dimensional character. Um, the thing about Kraven's last hunt storyline is that he brings out this animalistic hatred in Peter, and I
Yeah.
know they're doing this again in the modern Spider-Man comics with Kraven's clone slash son.
Mm.
Um, But I'm like, this game doesn't. I honestly, besides Craven almost killing Peter, he really doesn't do anything that bad to Peter to make him that angry.
Right.
Like, yeah, you almost killed me. I get that part. I get that part. I get that
Yeah.
part. But
Yeah.
before that, I know Peter was like, oh, he killed all these villains. Thank God, God, I get to build
I
these.
didn't have to.
Yeah, I was like, I know he was happy. I know he was happy in his head.
um but yeah, just in terms of like character development, I feel like the only person who had any sort of character development was Peter.
Oh yeah, Peter definitely had character development. I felt in this
But
game the whole character writing is worse.
oh, for sure.
I feel like
Like
this is the
for
almost.
it being
Go
a
ahead.
game with Peter and Miles, Miles had no character development. You start off with Miles struggling to balance being Spider-Man and still being a student, which I guess was the struggle in Miles Morales anyway.
Yeah.
Um, and like he's unable to write his college essay because he has to keep being Spider-Man. And then by the end of the game, he hasn't figured out how to be both. In fact, he's taken on more responsibility. He just happened to have like an afternoon and wrote his college essay, and now his problems are gone.
Yeah. And now now his problems are gone, and he's got more responsibility because now he has a girlfriend.
And he's
Um,
no he and now like at the end he's the only Spider-Man, right? Because
he's only
Peter's taking
Spider.
a break. So I don't understand how the conflict was. His family and like Genki and his girlfriend and all of them are like, "You're Spider-Man too often," and his answer is to be Spider-Man even more.
Yeah, be the only Spider-Man. And he's like, yeah, that's so. I solved all my issues, and this is how I've done it.
Yeah.
No, it was really bad. Going, let's talk about this. How do you feel about the ending, where we leave the characters off? Outside, we just talked about Miles for a little bit, but
Yeah.
everybody else.
I I don't know. I think it's weird for Norman to be so mad at Peter because Peter saved it, or to be mad at Spider-Man because
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man saved Harry's life. Like Harry is not dead, you know?
He's just in a coma.
Yeah.
He's back in a coma. He's like he was
Yeah.
out of a coma for like 2 weeks, and now he's back in it. It's chill.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, something that makes no sense in the 9-month time frame. How the heck did Peter not recognize the Emily May Foundation being built?
Oh, shit, you're right. They built it overnight.
It had to have
uh,
taken him like 4 or 5 months to build,
to
and he just saw it. And he's like, "Oh, I wonder what this building is."
4 or 5 months to build. Um, it 4 to 5 months to build in this reality. That building probably took like 10 years to build.
Yeah,
It has a particle accelerator in it.
exactly,
They
exactly.
didn't build it in 2 weeks.
And
What they say?
it looks like it's been operating for like at least a month. It's got a full staff. People are already like in the middle of research
There's
projects.
employees.
Yeah, people are in the middle of doing research projects. They have stations all around the city. How did Peter not recognize that this whole thing was going on?
The Emily May Foundation. He didn't know any of that was going on. Well, what they said, what the Obadiah Stane saying, Iron Man 1 is like, he built this in a
In a
cave
cave
with
with
a
a box
box
of
of.
scraps. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's pretty much like, you put this all underneath your noses. Like the world building is insane. Um, the world building is just all over the place in terms of
Yeah.
plot, in terms of character.
Yeah.
Um, the freaking J. Jonah Jameson buying the Daily Bugle is like this plot point that is referenced throughout the game over and over again with Mary Jane. And
Right.
Mary Jane is like struggling with it. And I was like, Mary Jane, if you don't want to write for this guy, out of New York has like so many
Yeah.
different freaking
They
news
also
publications.
set up Robbie Robinson had left the Bugle and started his own publication.
Yeah,
That's why you're taking pictures in this game. And it's like MJ doesn't want to like jump ship.
doesn't want to do. Mary Jane, a New York Times best-selling author, can't find more work. She can't find more. She has to write for the Daily Bugle.
Yeah. And like I that was another thing. Like in the first game, the big dramatic point in the story was when May dies, obviously, right?
Mm.
That's a huge toll on Peter. In this one, like, the big dramatic thing is like the fight between Peter and Scream, like where they have that 4-page dialogue of just like, oh, you never support me, and it's like I didn't know. Like it happens over a boss fight,
Yeah.
and it's not even that dramatic. Like they work it out immediately. Like there's no like lasting repercussions from like Mary Jane resenting Peter, as like obviously May's not going to come back. That's quite lasting.
Yeah. The whole thing with the Mary Jane Scream fight is like all the issues Mary Jane had up. I'm like, open up your mouth, speak, speak. Why you bottoming up all your? You never support me, motherfucker. Your boyfriend is Spider Man.
Yeah.
Your boyfriend just almost died 2 weeks ago, but you never support me. This is like that one girl from Invincible. Mark, I always knew you were Invincible, but you never spent time with me. There was an alien invasion last week. I
Yeah,
was stuck in a different dimension
for sure.
on a different You worried about that? Like Mary Jane is definitely on the top 5 biggest B word list right now because she is just
Okay.
what are you talking about? You
Right.
never support me in anything I do. It's always about you.
Yeah. I have this
I
job at
always
the I have this job at the Bugle to support us financially. Never mind the fact that I live in a separate apartment.
I live in a separate apartment. Peter just does. I understand Peter doesn't want to get rid of the house where he grew up in. You know, I get it.
But
They're
why hasn't she
more.
moved in? Like
Why is she moving? And if the whole thing is a relationship, if the whole relationship stuff has been settled since Miles Morales, since
yeah.
before Miles Morales, y'all are still doing this whole moving in thing
Yeah.
for it's been like almost a year now, and
Yeah.
you're still worried about that. You can't complain about him not being financially stable. His mortgage is $4,000 behind,
Yeah.
and he has no job, and you're worried about that. You
Also
are the
being
worst
4,000
girlfriend.
being 4,000 behind is like nothing. It should have been significantly higher.
Yeah.
It's like
Well,
$4,000 you can get that easily. It's like
I don't know about Peter Parker. He doesn't have a job.
true.
He doesn't $4,000. Four
Like
thousand
it needed to
dollars.
be like crippling debt, not like oh he's
Yeah.
starting to go into debt,
Well,
you know?
he is in $400,000 worth of debt for the house.
Hmm.
He is in 400,000. So he's
Yeah.
still like he's a semi-crippling debt. He's a genius inventor. He should not be in debt.
Right.
He's Peter Parker could probably cure cancer at this point. Like the the fact
Like
he has a wrist
the stuff that
mounted.
he's yeah, through wrist mounted 3D printers. I was just about to say that. Made no sense other than to set up the spider bots.
Yeah, he has a wrist-mounted 3D printer that can print full-size 3D full-size bots in
Full size
seconds.
electronics in seconds. Like I don't understand
Yeah,
how that happens, but
yeah, no, no. I kind of preferred the older,
yeah.
the Raimi Spider-Man, where it's
Yeah.
like, nah, this dude ain't got nothing but a box of, literally a
Yeah.
box of scraps,
Right.
and then
Right.
this is what he's working with, no gadgets. Kind of prefer like a Spider-Man with no gadgets. He's not Batman.
Yeah.
Um,
Or like
but
even in like the last mission where MJ like her pistol got broken, which this MJ sneak missions, I know people are like, "Oh, it's so much better," but just because you give her a gun doesn't make it not a sneak mission. It's so
yeah,
boring.
it is boring.
But
It's
like
faster though, which I
it
appreciate.
is faster. That is true. Because
Yeah,
I didn't care. I just blew through it. I was like, I don't care if I get spotted. I'm just going to run my way to the next target. Like,
same. I did the same thing.
I was like, I truly don't care to be stealthy about this.
Yeah, the first one where you're in Raven's place, I was just over here. Okay, run, sprint, 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 crouch,
Yeah.
crouch, walk. Take out one guy, sprint, 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 sprint. That's how I did it.
Yeah, exactly. Like even with the sneak missions, I enjoyed. They were better, true, than the first game. But the first game had the real fun one in Grand Central Station, where you were like directing Spider-Man to like take out enemies. That one I found
Yeah,
was interesting.
yeah,
This one
that
was just like,
was.
oh, she's got she's got the Glock on her and she's just taking them out. Also,
And she's a master electric engineer who can.
how does she take out symbiotes with like 3 shots and Peter's over here just kicking them 8 times in the chest and they're not going
Dude,
down.
when you fight the brute and you could do it in like 2 mags of
Yeah.
that gun is insane. When I'm Peter and I'm literally punching them with every symbiote, but it takes me like a minute to kill one.
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah.
And
Sorry, but
can
to
we
the
talk
point of
about?
oh, sorry,
Oh, go ahead.
one more time. To the point of genius inventor, it's like at the end, like her gun had been destroyed by some what was it? It was during the part where she's chasing after Peter when he's gone full like Venom mode.
Yeah,
Her gun gets broken at that point, and then
yeah,
at the end where Peter's like, "Oh, you're gonna need this," and I gave you a sonic upgrade. When did he do that? When did
yeah.
he build her a new gun with a sonic upgrade?
Dude, I don't know what type of technology they got. This is also an issue I have with the MCU with like the nanotech type stuff.
Yeah.
Like you're just where you're pulling this out of your ass like a
Yeah.
GTA character. Like you're
No,
literally
no,
just spawning stuff.
he literally pulls his phone out of his ass. That's the crazy
Yeah,
part.
yeah. It's
It's
like
like it's like in the animation, they put the camera behind Peter and they think that a good idea is to have his animation to be to pull a phone out of his back pocket. So he literally reaches behind him and the phone's in his hand, like it spawns in there. I'm like, is he pulling it out of his ass?
yeah, just pulling it out of his ass. Can we talk about how the whole reason Peter even gets stabbed is Mary Jane's fault?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, he told her Mary Jane again. Top five biggest be worse. She doesn't listen. He says, "Don't chase them. I'm on my way." It would have been fine and done and handled, but no, she just couldn't listen. So then she runs after them. She
Yeah.
gets caught. Spider-Man has to come to her rescue. Then he gets stabbed,
Yeah.
almost dies because of her. God,
Yeah.
I hate this Mary Jane. I like
Sure.
classic Mary Jane where she's just the. I'd rather her be just a damsel in distress who you kind of come save every now and again
Sure.
because she half of this game's story could have really been prevented if she had just listened to somebody, like just
True.
listen to him, the
True.
words coming out of his mouth. You have no powers. You are just a dainty woman. I I can punch people into the sky. Let me handle it.
Yeah.
God, I hate Mary Jane in these games, and she looks ugly. Come on, man. I can't stand Mary Jane in these games.
Yeah.
Ooh,
It's crazy. I don't understand. I mean, obviously she has to be in the game. She's a very like integral part to Spider-Man, but not like that. They don't need to make her a playable character.
no, not at all. Not at all.
Um,
Ah,
what do I say? Okay, story-wise, I feel like the first game was so much better at connecting like the audience with the villains as compared to
mm,
the second game, because like you work with Martin Lee at Feast, you work with Octavius throughout the entire game, and so like it's very devastating when they turn evil. This one, it's like Craven's evil in the beginning, he's evil at the end.
yeah.
Venom is like Venom's evil in the beginning, he's evil at the end. It's like, yeah, it's
It was cool seeing the progression with Harry. That's pretty much it.
right.
Like you can almost kind of. My interesting thing I have a question for
Hmm.
is when the symbiote was bonded with Harry, has been bonded with him for so long. Why didn't he go crazy? If it
Because
been,
it hadn't tasted Spider-Man's power yet, I guess.
I don't know. It had a taste of Spider-Man's power, but it could copy it and
Yeah,
get it anyways.
yeah,
So I don't know about that whole thing.
yeah.
Where's Eddie Brock at?
I don't know. As soon as in the Coney Island mission, where she's like, "Oh, it's the new editor," and they don't even say his name, I'm like, "Oh, Eddie Brock's not in this game. Why? Don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Where's Eddie Brock at? Where's Gwen Stacy?
Dead.
Dead. Well, but did she? They like I know of a tie-in comic that they did, and Sonic Spider-Man doesn't even know who Gwen Stacy is.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're setting up. Is Gwen Stacy gonna be Miles'
Hopefully
girlfriend
MJ dies.
instead?
Oh,
Oh, I hope MJ crazy. I want the next game to be like 5 years later. I want him to have kids, and then I want MJ to die. I want
God.
Peter Parker to be a single father. Screw MJ, she sucks. She's the worst. I can't stand her.
Oh God. um, yeah, I don't know. Like, what do you think the time jump is going to be between the second and third game? Another 9 months?
They can't keep doing it in 9 months because it just doesn't. For all that happens, it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense for it to
No.
happen in early 9 months.
No.
I think the next game. I think I do change my opinion on what I think you may be right. I do think Carnage will be set up through the DLC, and maybe that will be 9 months later, and then the game
Mm,
will be like 3 years later because
mm,
they are setting up. Peter becoming more of the family man. I feel like Miles, like they have to do the whole Miles going to college thing.
True.
They have to do the whole Miles in college. So I do
I mean,
think
uh, if he doesn't go to college in New York, I don't understand what's going to happen, right? He's obviously going to
he
go
has
to like
Empire State
NYU or
University.
Empire
Yeah,
State, something like that. Maybe he goes to Columbia. Who knows?
yeah. They set it up being Empire State. So hopefully that
Yeah,
I want
I think it would
to.
be funny if he just like goes to Ohio State.
Yeah, it goes to Ohio State. He has to fly back every weekend to deal with the city being taken over. Because apparently New York gets taken over by a villain every other weekend.
Yeah.
I kind of want them in the next game. I do hope they expand on the world a little bit more. Because what I did
Mm,
like about Spider-Man 1 is we saw characters outside of the Spider-Man mythos.
true.
Like you see Taskmaster, which we brought up a lot of times. I hope Spider-Man 3, and I hope even the DLC does some of that. Like something I thought was really good. The Baxter Building is under construction in
Right.
the game.
Right.
I hope they do something with that because Spider-Man's whole thing when he first came out was he tried to join the Fantastic Four.
Right.
So I hope that kind of the Insomniac and they officially announced. I don't know if you saw that they officially announced yesterday that the Wolverine game is going to be set in the same
Yes. Yes.
universe.
I did see
It
that.
was it was under rumor that it might be its own separate universe because of the way they first said it, but it's going to be the
So like,
same
why wasn't
universe.
he in the game?
Would there no? Yeah, I, Wolverine doesn't even need to be in the game. References to there's more references to Wolverine in Spider-Man 1
Yeah.
than there were in this game. I want to see the larger world build
Right.
up.
Why are there no other Avengers, despite the Avengers Tower being the tallest building in the game?
I was telling Jose that all the Avengers have to be dead. They all have to be. Every Avenger, Daredevil, dead. All of them.
Well, you see, he got evicted from his
Yeah,
yeah the
Nelson and
where
Murdoch,
yeah
because Nelson is dead, or Murdoch is dead. Foggy Nelson's dead too. All of them are dead.
Carrot Page is
Everybody who
dead.
can.
Yeah,
The
that's it.
Punisher, dead. Dude, the fact that the Punisher is not in this game, I was really hoping for that. I was really hoping the Punisher was going to be in the game
Yeah.
because, for people who don't know, the Punisher was introduced to Spider-Man.
Right.
I was really, really hoping for that. Ah, that actually, I made myself upset about something that wasn't even teased. I was just hoping it was there. Like, I'm upset
Yeah.
now. I was like, ah.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there was a lot more they could have done to this game. I feel like talking about padding out the story, what was like cool was when you were forced to like crawl through the environments, but like that was just padding. Like it was just to give you extra time in these missions of being like, yeah, here's 2 full minutes of crawling.
Yeah, no,
But like it was super well detailed and like
it was cool to look
it was
at.
super super cool. But it was like, oh yeah, that's it. And
Yeah.
something that made no sense to me was using Peter Parker's like whatever drone it was that like he was like remote piloting never came back up at all.
No.
Miles
Yeah,
used it in the Harlem like side mission, but
yeah,
like it never came back up. I was like, why is this part of the tutorial if you're not going to use it?
yeah. It only comes back up as a collectible.
Yeah.
That's literally it. Um, I don't know, man. I don't know how Peter Parker has access to all this money to get all this technology that he has. Um, yeah, I'm not the biggest. Dude, I don't know. This game reeks of missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Like Spider-Man 2, missed opportunity. The game.
Sure.
That's kind
And
of how I
like
feel about
we've
it.
been extremely negative. I did enjoy the game.
Oh, I love the game. I think if I rated lower than 2018. I was being I was being harsh on social media. I was like, oh, it's a 4 out of 10. It's not a 4 out of 10. I'm like,
No.
I would say it's a 6.
Yeah.
I'll tell
Like
you what, I like
it
Starfield
tries to
more.
stay super faithful to Spider-Man, which is nice. Like
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that they definitely try to make this a Spider-Man game.
yeah.
I just think when it comes to like traditional storytelling and like video game mechanics, I think they definitely missed out.
Yeah, and because I have to hate on them every time I get the chance. IGN, are they even playing the video games they talk about?
No.
Yeah. It's like Spider-Man 2 proves Sony cares about single-player story-focused games. Dude, the story in this game is not that good.
No.
Calm down.
No. Yeah.
Calm down. You mean to tell me the story of this game is better than God of War Ragnarok? No. Come
No.
on.
No.
Calm down.
Yeah.
Calm down. Like, Gran Turismo 7 has a better story. That game doesn't have one. Calm down.
Yeah,
Calm down.
yeah,
Chill
I
out.
agree. It was a lot of missed opportunity, and that's very
Yeah.
unfortunate. But that's what it is.
They should have stayed Venom too. I don't like. I felt like they kind of wasted Venom because
Yeah,
unless they bring back unless the game, unless Spider-Man 3 or if they do a fourth one goes this full King and Black kind of scenario, why did you put Venom? Is such an important character to
but I mean,
Spider-Man as a whole.
why did they kill off the Sinister Six? I
Yeah,
truly thought that like this was the end of it. There's like Peter
yeah.
Parker's gonna die. It's gonna be Miles just away from now on. So like
Mhm.
all of Peter's villains, those are gone. I thought that was
Yeah.
what's happening.
Yeah. What I did feel that is what's gonna happen is that Spider-Man 3, they're gonna start building Miles Morales' rogues gallery,
Right,
but Norman is gonna be coming for both of them.
right.
I feel like that's definitely how to set up. And they've said, Insomniac has said, they were talking during New York Comic Con that this is their like Spider-Man 3 is gonna be their end game. Which
Hmm.
I don't know what that really means
Yeah,
because when you think about Endgame as a movie, it was just a bunch of cameos. So what does
yeah,
that mean besides being
yeah.
a massive conclusive
Sure, sure.
saga defining thing? Which you could have
I
just
don't
said
know.
Spider-Man 3 is gonna be a conclusion. But
Yeah,
I will say we weren't negative on it, but we know the game is good. I feel like it's
right.
more important to talk about what issues the game has rather than what the game is good at
Because a lot of people
because
are out there saying how good the game is, and I
yeah,
want to point out that it's not. There is definitely things that could have been
there are
improved.
issues. I mean, all games have issues. There's no such thing as a perfect video game outside of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2 video game. There
True,
are no perfect video games.
true.
Everything has issues, and I feel like this game, people are gonna be on the hype train for this game, and then like they give it 2 more weeks, nobody's gonna be talking about it.
True.
That's how I feel. I just truly, I think there's more people talking about Starfield right now than there are gonna be people talking about
I guess.
Spider-Man
I
in
don't
a
know.
week.
I don't know. But I think once Game Awards come around, then it'll be back up for discussion when it's going to
Oh,
be
dude,
nominated for Game of the Year. I definitely don't think it's going to win.
it's the competition is too intense.
Yeah.
Competition is too. The fact
But
it came
like
out on the same day as a Mario game.
Starfield's not going to win. I mean,
Oh,
maybe
Starfield's not gonna win. Starfield
Baldur's
will
Gate.
be nominated.
Yeah.
Starfield will be nominated. Baldur's Gate 3 deserves to win.
Sure.
But I feel like it's gonna go to Nintendo.
Mm,
It's gonna be either Super Mario Wonder, Pikmin 4, or Tears of the Kingdom because everybody sucks Nintendo's balls all the time, dude.
sure.
People love Nintendo way
Yeah.
too much. They release the same game every 2 years
It
and
is
you
probably
buy
going to
it.
be Tears of the Kingdom, which is terrible, but oh well.
Yeah. I have Tears of the Kingdom. I played it for like 5 hours and I set it down. But my I don't even have a Switch anymore. I have my girlfriend's Switch and it's just sitting. It's underneath my bed, uncharged, with Tears of the Kingdom
Yeah.
still in the
You're
slide.
not playing Mortal Kombat on the Switch?
No, I'm not playing Mortal Kombat. God heavens, I'm playing Mortal Kombat on that PlayStation 5. I should have got it on PC though for the mods.
Mm, mm,
The mods for that game were
true.
really cool.
Did you
You can
see
make that.
the Halloween fatality they just released?
I haven't seen it, but I heard that it was locked behind a paywall,
Yeah, it's
and
$10.
that made me so upset. I haven't loaded the game since I read that up this time. I was like, you're locking behind fatalities behind like paywalls now.
Yeah,
That's really
that
I'm
is
not the
crazy.
biggest fan.
Yeah.
Do you think they're gonna do suit DLC that you have to pay for this game? Because if they do that, I'm gonna be pissed. Outside of story DLC, I know the story DLC added more suits, but if they have like, oh, you could give me $5 to get a new Spider-Man skin.
I don't know.
How would you be feeling?
I want more Spider-Man skins because I feel like the skins were bad, but
Yeah,
uh, I don't think that they're gonna make you pay for those.
yeah.
They're
I know
definitely gonna sell the DLCs, obviously.
modern Sony nickels and dimes people so much, man. I
True.
don't know. I don't know.
I think suits are gonna come with the DLC.
You know what really bothered me when I was thinking about it? That all the suits from the first game weren't in this game.
Some
Uh,
of them were like Scarlet Spider was in this one.
some
Uh,
of them were, but like
yeah,
one of my favorite Spider-Man
Ghost
suits is
Spider.
the
Yeah.
yeah that was missing. One of my favorite Spider-Man suits is the Last Stand suit.
Oh yeah, sure.
That's not in the game,
Yeah.
and the fact that 5 suit slots were dedicated to MCU suits
Yeah.
when they could have just been skin selection
Oh
it has really bothered me. Like you could have had one MCU, you could have called it MCU suit. You could have had the classic. You
yeah.
could have had the upgraded and the integrated, and then the inside out.
Yeah.
Also, a thing I find weird: Miles Morales has a suit called Agent of Shield. There's not a single reference to Shield in this whole game. Like
True.
not a single
True.
reference
That's
at
a
all.
that was a pretty cool suit. It's a lot better than the Spider Monkey suit for Peters.
Just a Spider Monkey suit.
Yeah,
Was it part of?
it's the stealth suit. It's the MCU stealth suit.
Oh, Spider. Okay, Spider Monkey. Okay, yeah. I know what you mean. Now. I was thinking like, was there like a
No,
Did they give him like a monkey head, like a
no,
a wook, like a like yeah? I was whoa. I was kind of confused for a second.
Yeah, it's MCU the stealth suit,
Yeah.
but like the Agent of Shield suit's far better.
Oh, dude, I love that suit. That's such a good.
Yeah.
I will say Miles' suit's way better than he had in the first game.
True.
I
Smoke and mirrors. Did you unlock the smoke and mirrors?
I did not like the smoke and mirrors. It is
sick.
cool. I like the tracksuit a lot though. I've been
the tracksuit. Yeah. I love the black
suit.
variant of the tracksuit.
Mm-hmm, where
like,
he does the black and red.
Yeah, it's it's a better version of the upgraded suit.
Yeah, I love it. His classic suit, like his.
Yeah.
What I do like is I like they change the colors because a lot of these outfits, even Spider-Man 1, how it was orange instead of red.
Sure.
Like that small little details, like how Miles Morales' suit was gray instead of black.
Yeah.
Small little things like that bother me.
Yeah.
And they were very over designed, and I kind of like the newer stuff they added.
Sure.
Peter Parker, we need more suits. Give me more. Also, why does Miles not have a Spider-Punk suit in this style of Across the Spider-Verse?
Yeah.
Like I would love to have classic Spider-Punk and then Across the Spider-Verse Spider-Punk on Miles because it makes more sense for Miles because he's actually black.
Yeah.
But do you want to wrap it up?
Sure. Wrap it up. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else I want to say about this game. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I just think that there's a lot of shortcomings, and I think they need to be talked about. I think the third one definitely has the potential to prove us wrong with our criticisms and definitely be like, oh, this is all setting up something. We're taking those criticisms, maybe adding in the gadget wheel back, taking down the health, like reducing the number of enemies, like definitely learning from what a lot of people have like these are just criticisms that I've also seen online. Like I think they can learn from that and definitely make the third game the best Spider-Man game that's probably ever been made. I
would love to do like a little 30-minute addendum when Trakari plays this, because I feel like he would have a lot
Ali
to say.
is watching a playthrough at the moment, so we can have them on.
Ali needs to get a PS5.
He
needs to get a PS5.
Yeah,
we need to get him. He's never had a console. We need to go ahead and change that situation. We can't keep living like this, man.
So I don't know if he's finished watching the playthrough, but I know he was watching a playthrough, and so when both of them are done with it, we can have their opinions on it as well. But yeah, is there anything else you want to say?
Insomniac, we let you cook. Let's see what you do with the DLC.
We let them cook, but this year they kind of turned up like Russell Wilson's cooking.
Yeah, this meal, it was sustaining, but it wasn't gourmet.
True.
I want that gourmet meal next time. Let me see what you do with dessert.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for listening. If you haven't played the game, I would certainly recommend people go out and play it. And get your own opinions for yourself. But this was our thoughts on Spider-Man. Thanks for listening. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter. We don't have the TikTok yet, but find us on YouTube and Spotify. And
Threads, Threads,
of course.
It's terrible right now.
All right. Well, thanks.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.